Welcome to the Mentors and Moguls podcast. I'm your host, Heather Stone. I bring you mentors and moguls from all around the world, different walks of life, from creatives to CEOs to business leaders to top athletes and all kinds of other people in between. If you like our episode today, all of our podcasts are available on our YouTube channel. Please go ahead and subscribe and comment. We'd love to hear your feedback. Today, I'm talking to celebrity nutrition expert, best-selling author, and resident health authority on numerous TV programs, including Good Morning America, The Talk, Good Day LA, as well as a regular contributor to publications like USA Today, Forbes, and Bloomberg. Dr. Kellyann Petrucci, whose new book, Dr. Kellyan's Bone Broth Breakthrough, is now on shelves. Good morning and welcome to the Mentors and Moguls podcast. Today, I am so honored and thrilled to have our guest, Dr. Kellyann Petrucci. If you haven't seen her face, I think you've been hiding under a rock when it comes to nutrition and health. She is definitely an expert when it comes to health, maybe some weight management, and what is good for this ageless beauty that she is shining through today. Good morning, Dr. Kellyann. How are you?
Hey, Heather. I'm so happy to be here.
I love it. I love it. Well, I wanted to first jump in and say, you look fabulous. You always look fabulous. We won't even talk about your age because you're really not that old, but you are glowing.
Oh, that's what you think.
You've got a brand new book out called Bone Broth Breakthrough. Tell us a little bit about this book and what inspired you to write this book.
I'm really excited about this book more than any. And for anyone who's been following my work, this is my 11th book. So wow. I've written a lot in health and wellness. This has been the most exciting for me. This is so above and beyond what we did in the bone broth diet. This is the bone broth diet 2.0, where we really take you through different conditions that people have, and we come up with strategies. So I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this 2 decades. So I know what women come in to my practice for, and they say, look, Dr. Kellyann, here's where I feel aimless. Here's where I can't seem to get results. And we've taken all of that. We've broken it down. We've come up with beautiful broths, healing broths for all of these conditions. Maybe you feel like, you know what? I have no libido anymore. I don't know why. I am going through menopausal hell. I am gaining all kind of weight. I'm aging like rapid fire. All these things. I'm exhausted. I'm bloated all the time. I take one bite of food and poof, out goes my stomach. My hair is getting thinner. My waist is getting thicker. I want to kick everything and everyone. What's happening? All of these conditions are conditions that I've heard about for so long. So I put them all together in a book, and we have discussed different strategies as well as these beautiful broths. There's all of these new recipes in the book that you won't find anywhere else. And here's one of the things that I talk about, something called stamina care. And this is really important for people to key into, because there's one thing, I call it fake awake. Most people have fake awake energy. We do things like coffees and teas and energy drinks and anything we can get our hands on to get energy. But we need something beyond that. We need something called mitochondrial care, where we get deep-seated energy that you can depend on, you can rely on, you know it's there every single day. And a lot of that, Heather, has to do with managing other things like the people in your life. So one of the things we talk about is everything you want in life, you've got to get through people to get it, whether it's a happy relationship with your children, your husband, your coworkers, anything that you do in life, it's about people. So there's certain things that you have to understand that drain your energy, your mitochondria, your good gold, your good energy. It drains it. How do you deal with it? How do you get around it? So these are all the kind of things that I talk about in the book. There's so much there, and it's just been such a pleasure to write. So if you've done a 10-day program or one of my 21-day programs, this is next level. This teaches you how to do it on an everyday beat.
Well, I don't know a single woman that can't use that, because I think you just touched on everybody's situation. Of course, definitely the women that are turning, 45, 50 are definitely experiencing, what is this? This is something new. How do I deal with this? So I'm so glad that you're providing answers for us. It's very, very much needed. I'm very fascinated. Bravo on your brand, by the way. Tell me a little bit about why and how you started the Kellyann brand. Tell us about your products and a little bit more about the history of how this came to be.
Yeah. So the Dr. Kellyann brand is both online, direct to consumer, and we're also in about 2,000 retail outlets. And this has been a dream come true. That front loaded with a lot of books and a lot of media. So we've got books, we've got content, which is our books and our programs. And then because what we do, Heather, is we teach everyone how to use our products. That's important to us. So you not only get a box of something, you actually know what to do with it. And if you care for having a program, you have a program that goes along with it. Here's how it started. When I was younger, like so many people, there is a personal story behind it. It's kind of twofold. The first part of the story is that my father was a barber. There was 4 children, and I was the kid that talked all of the time. I was the talkative one. So my mom shipped me out. So every day after school, I would go to my father's barber shop and I would watch him cut hair and I would sweep the floor up, and I had the money in the cigar box. I was in charge of the money. I'd wipe down the windows, that kind of thing. But one of the things that I observed, and I was very young, about 7 years old when I started realizing this, was that my father made people feel better. Well, get in that chair. And they would be slumped over coming in, and they would be telling my father these problematic issues and this. But my father had this way of transforming. He had it. He didn't realize he had it. But now as an older woman, it was so clear to me that he had this gift of transformation. And I believe that gift has transformed to me. And part of that was because when I was young, I suffered from something called endometriosis, which is terrible, painful cramps. I was doubled over all of the time. I missed an inordinate amount of school. My mother didn't know what to do. And the only answers that we got were this: you have to have a hysterectomy. In other words, take out all your parts. You've got to go on hormone therapy. And by the way, as you're leaving, I just want to tell you, you probably can't have kids. In fact, it's most likely that you can't have kids. And realize that coming from this big Italian family, kids everywhere, that's all anyone talked about. It was your kids, your kids, your kids, your kids. It was in my DNA, ingrained in me, that was a big vision for me. So imagine the trajectory that I was on as a young woman, feeling like, I probably can't have kids. So I went through this trauma that combined with this ability, I believe, that transferred from my father to me to transform. Something in me realized that the answers that I was getting were not correct. So that Nancy Drew, it kind of sparked that in me. And I was on this road of discovery, and I didn't listen to anything the doctors said. And this is where I realized the biggest epiphany. I started getting into fitness. I thought, I'm going to figure this out. And as I started evolving in fitness, I started doing different bodybuilding shows and fitness competitions. And as I developed in this, I was assigned to a trainer. I was working with Gold's Gym. It was in St. Louis. And they said, let's put you with a trainer. We want you to win this thing. So the first thing the trainer said was, do you eat gluten? Do you have dairy? Because we want you to get lean and healthy and have a lot of energy. And when you are in the presence of a lot of that, we find that a lot of people have reactions to that. Okay, Heather, I listened. Within 1 month, my cramps went away about 80%. Within 3 months' time, Heather, I had no sign or symptom of ever having any endometrial pain.
Wow. I mean, that right there is breakthrough right there. Good for you, but how amazing. And weren't you so angry and frustrated? No one told you this before.
Every emotion, which is why I was able to help so many people, I believe. But what I realized is food was the answer. It can be causative. It can be a lot of things, but I want to use food because what I realize, it's not about abstaining. It's about eating. And if you eat the right way, you can enjoy foods. And what I mean by the right way is understanding that if your body is like a football team and everyone has to work together for it to actually work and function, then your gut, let me say it again, your gut is like the quarterback, and the quarterback is calling the shots. So if you want to win, you've got to understand that you've got this quarterback calling the shots. And if you adhere to how to palliate that system, that microbiome that we hear about, if you understand how to work within that, you are going to have the skin that you want. You are going to have the beautiful body that you want. And you're going to have the energy that you want, and you're not going to get sick as often. And your moods and emotions are going to be stabilized, because the person in charge of that is that quarterback. And when I realized that, and I started eating that way, that's when I became so fueled. And I just remembered so many years of pain, feeling like I couldn't date because I was so afraid. I planned every single trip around it. I dreaded looking on the calendar. I mean, the pain that I felt, dreaded looking on the calendar, knew, oh my gosh, my period's coming. That means everything's, all hands on deck. I got to get everything done now, because in a week, I'm not going to be able to move. And I couldn't even hold down food. It was really something to go from that level of pain and anxiety and having it impact my social life, my personal life, everything, to go from that to saying, you got to be kidding me. It was food. It was food. Because what happens is, a lot of times with a lot of the things that we feel, whether it's hormones or anything else, we can level them off with food. You got to start there and then figure it out. Your emotions, you've got to figure out, how hydrated am I? People do not take hydration seriously. How hydrated am I? Where is my mental state emotionally? How level am I? Am I up and down? If I'm up and down, I've got to take care of that, because those emotions are going to charge a lot of the rest of my physiology. You can't separate your mental state from your physical state. They are all in the same. People say, well, I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, you want to have beautiful skin. You don't want to age like rapid fire. You don't want to, have the pounds just accumulate all of the time, but you got to get this straightened out first. True. Because that's the 6 inches between your ears are everything.
True. Well, I am on my own fitness journey right now, which will be continued, but look what I've been taking.
Yay! Well, you're on the way now, girl.
I'm on the right path. Well, I could talk to you for days, but I thank you so much for sharing your information about your book. Everyone get out there and get it. You can find her pretty much anywhere if you've got any kind of electronic device or walk into a bookstore. I thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your insight. I know this actually probably flipped a switch for a lot of women that are having any number of these problems. And I look forward to your next product and your next book, though I don't know what more you can say because you've already helped everyone so much.
Well, I just have to say, understand I have to say this about bone broth. And the reason why I can talk about a lot of things, and I'm picking bone broth, because it heals and seals your gut. It does that because the collagen in there is cooked collagen, gelatin, which I defy anyone to find anything better, that heals and seals your gut. You've got the gut-brain axis that makes you think better. You've got the gut-skin axis. And you can also, Heather, use the bone broth in intermittent fasting. So when you feel like I can't do this intermittent fasting thing, I'm hungry all the time, I need energy, you're going to get 16 grams of protein. You're going to get a great shot of protein. You're going to get that collagen that's like Spanx for the face. It keeps everything lifted and looking good. And it's going to take that bloat down. It's going to take that hunger pang. You're not going to have to white knuckle things. I mean, those packets should be all over the place, in your car, in your purse, because they're lifesavers.
I love it. Well, I do use it. So I am actually walking the walk. So I thank you very much. Can't wait to tune in with you and see what you come up with next. But in the meantime, everybody get out there and get some of her products and pick up her new book. Thank you, Dr. Kellyann.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Mentors and Moguls podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, rate and review this interview and share it with a friend who could benefit from today's guest. You can find bonus video episodes at mentorsandmogulspodcast.com or check out our events page and our blog at heatherrstone.com. Until next time, make it a great day.